Bom dia, gente. This is Reddick from Portugal. What is it that unites us humans all around the world? Is it the love for money or football? Is it love itself? No, it's coffee. Portugal has a very, very strong history and culture when it comes to coffee. So if you don't want to make a fool out of yourself, next time you order coffee in Portugal, here are the 10 favorite coffees that you can order in Portugal. First of all, some basics, and I think that's also important. Portuguese coffee is drunken quite strong and in usually smaller portions. Maybe some standard sizes that you know for yourself. This is a typical coffee size in Portugal, maybe also known as a espresso size. This is considered a large coffee. We will talk about this later. And this is maybe a normal cup of coffee that you know for yourself. This is not something you find very often in Portuguese cafes. So these two sizes are the most standard sizes that you can find in a Portuguese coffee. So let's start. The standard coffee in Portugal, if you order a coffee, un café, is this one, which probably is known to most of us as an espresso. It is also the same size. It's this cup size, half full. This is something you order when you order a café. The normal coffee with the big cup doesn't really exist in the Portuguese coffee culture. That's something you can see in an American movie, that people order in a diner. People come and fill up a big cup of coffee, quite thin. This doesn't exist. You can order it. You can tell them, okay, I want a Café Americano. Some people know it. Some people don't know what it is. But in general, a coffee is this one, this size, half full. And that's what you get when you order coffee. There are many variations of a coffee in Portugal, of the standard coffee size. The most common one, it's called Café Cheio. So they basically leave the water running until it's almost full. That's a Café Cheio. If you don't feel like really having a coffee, there's a small variation of it, which is only maybe 10-20% of the cup size with coffee. It's called Italiano. I don't know why. If you know it, please leave it in the comments. If you feel like taking your coffee with milk, the traditional one, then you can order a Pingado, Café Pingado, which is basically 80-90% coffee and then 10-20% milk on top of it. Pingado, it's like a drop of coffee, milk on top of it. You can order the contrary, which is called un Garoto. It's 89% hot milk, and then they put 10-20% of coffee on top of it, probably the size of a Italiano. It's a little bit of coffee. Sometimes you also hear people ordering café con cheirinho with a small smell, which means that they order normal coffee and fill it up with a liquor, strong liquor, for example, bagaço that they have in Portugal. Some people do it. It's not very typical, but that's a café com cheirinho. Decaffeinated coffee in Portugal. The standard way to order it is Descafeinado, which is also the standard coffee cup size in Portugal. So if you order un Descafeinado, you also get like an espresso or a Portuguese coffee, un café, half full. You can order the Descafeinado Cheio, which basically means that they fill up until the end. That's how you order a decaffeinated coffee. There are in normal ways, or normally no other ways to order a decaf coffee, or in larger sizes. So let's talk about the big guys, the really strong coffees. For example, I need a lot of coffee in the morning. So un café, a regular coffee in Portugal wouldn't do the job. Again, this is not the typical size you will get, that you might expect when you go to a cafe or when you work, that you, I don't know, serve yourself getting a coffee. This is basically more the size of a big coffee that you can get, but nevertheless it's quite strong. So what you can order is Café Duplo, which is basically 2 coffees or longer coffees, which adds up to a bigger size, quite strong though. What I like to order is so-called Abatanado. I think more known in the north like this. It's also like a coffee, but instead of serving it and letting it run in a small size, they fill up the entire coffee, or they let it run until this cup size more or less is full. Also quite strong though. So I think these are the typical ways to order stronger coffees. Either it's a Café Duplo or un Abatanado. If you like your coffee with milk, there are also ways to order this in Portugal. I think it's not so standard and common to drink coffee with a lot of milk, but there are 3 ways to do this. 2 ways, it's also not the same cup, just to order you, to show you a little bit the quantity. It's called Meia de Leite. It's half milk and half coffee. The variation of this is something you probably know internationally. It's internationally known. It's called a Cappuccino, which is also half coffee, half milk, but it's with white coffee foam usually on top of it. The more, I think it's even another variation of this. It's called Galão, which is usually served in a glass cup, a triangular glass cup, which is slightly more coffee than milk, so it's a little bit stronger, no foam on top. That's a Galão, also quite strong. But these are the typical 3 ways to order your coffee with more milk. That's it for the standard coffees that you can order in Portugal. I'm pretty sure I didn't cover everything because there are many regional differences. If you have different name for your coffee in Portugal or maybe at home, leave them in the comments. I'm happy to know about them. If you have questions, contact us. If you have an opinion about the video and if you like it, please subscribe us or leave a comment. And don't forget, stop surviving, start living. See you in Portugal.